In your headlines first at 9, Mathews gives up captaincy, Chandimal and Tharanga to step in and fill the void.
First at 9, this is Other Derana 24/7.
Also making headlines tonight, 3-day state visit. President Maithripala will leave for Bangladesh tomorrow. Premier's pledge. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe assures the Mahasangha that the new constitution will retain prominence for Buddhism. PET scanner given go-ahead. Derana initiative for cancer hospital gets cabinet approval. Anti Corruption Secretariat. Dr. Rajitha Senaratne rejects JVP claims of secretariat closure. Sri Lanka captain Angelo Mathews will no longer command the troops in all 3 formats as he has stepped down from the captaincy. The void left behind by Mathews, regarded as one of the best finishers of the modern-day game, will be filled by Dinesh Chandimal and Upul Tharanga in tests, ODIs and T20s. We will bring you more on this story in our sports segment. I'm Indivari Amwata and we begin tonight's edition of your news first at 9 with other top local news. President Maithripala will leave for Bangladesh tomorrow for a 3-day state visit on the invitation of Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. During the visit, President Sirisena will hold bilateral meetings with the Bangladeshi Prime Minister and the President Mohammad Abdul Hamid. Meetings are also scheduled between the President and Bangladeshi Foreign Minister, Health Minister, the Speaker and Opposition Leader. The 2 countries are expected to sign several bilateral agreements in the fields of agriculture, education, training of diplomats and immigration. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe says that the government will not mediate to control temples and will safeguard the prominence for Buddhism in the constitution. He expressed these views at a meeting with the Mahasangha at the Temple Trees this morning.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and the Minister of Education Akila Viraj Karivasam held discussions with the Mahasangha regarding the prominence of Buddhism in the constitution.
They threatened to split the Malwatu chapter with the patronage of the government during the Rajapaksa regime, and they also said that they will drop bombs on the temple of the Tooth Relic. Headlines like these about Malwatu chapter were not written then. What did the present-day accusers do back then? We do not have the authority to control temples, but the minister has the authority to safeguard archaeological sites. We need to decide whether to remain in the UNESCO World Heritage Convention. The minister has no desire to make this decision. We will meet the chief prelate of the Asgiri chapter, and if exiting from the UNESCO convention is the desired outcome, we will heed. The constitution is in the process of being prepared. We are not against the word unitary. As the leaders of the 2 main parties, the President and I have agreed to retain the prominence of Buddhism in the new constitution.
Now, the much-debated topic of a new constitution continues to draw comments, with members of the Mahasangha and politicians alike talking about the matter.
No one in this country voted for a constitution. The most voted expecting a salary hike or a free bicycle. Some wanted to send home the corrupted politicians. If someone says that 6.2 million voted for a new constitution, that is a myth. No mandate for this. We, the Mahasangha, said the present constitution is more than enough on the basis that the known devil is better than the unknown angel. We do not want to remain in the same constitution for a long time. The abolishment of the executive presidency is required for the democracy of the country. It must be passed in parliament. The current constitution is 39 years old and is therefore outdated. The world and society has changed, and therefore a constitution which facilitates this change is necessary.
JVP parliamentarian Vijitha Herath is of the view that political interference is behind the closure of the Anti Corruption Secretariat and condemns statements made by Cabinet co-spokesperson Dr. Rajitha Senaratne on the matter. During a media briefing in Colombo today, the parliamentarian noted that the Anti Corruption Secretariat was also probing into complaints on officials of the present government.
මෙතෙන්ට පහුගිය කාලය තුල සිද්ධ වෙච්ච බොහෝ සිදුවීම් පිළිබඳ පැමිණිලි රාශියක් ලැබිලා තිබුණා.
In the past 2.5 years, over 1,100 complaints have been received. However, Minister Rajitha Senaratne claims that around 400 million rupees have been spent on the Secretariat and it is an institution which is of no use. According to certain media reports, it was said that the President told the Cabinet that investigations are being carried out only on his people and not others. This is a false statement which we condemn. We conducted our own investigation and within this 2-year period, the total amount spent on this institution is 32 million rupees and not 409 million rupees. The government has earned 500 million rupees from conducting main investigations alone. The government is doing this on purpose. This is all political interference. If the President can say that investigations are being carried out only on his people, then he should understand that they were also members of the previous government. He should understand that it is wrong to protect such people.
Meanwhile, speaking at a media briefing held today, Cabinet co-spokesperson Dr. Rajitha Senaratne expressed his views on the status of the Anti Corruption Secretariat.
The Anti Corruption Secretariat will not be closed. According to the Cabinet paper, this was established for a period of 1 year. A Cabinet paper was tabled on November the 22nd, 2016 to extend the Secretariat for a further 6 months. Therefore, its term will end on the 30th of July. The Secretariat was established to carry out primary documentation for the FCID. We have 14 institutes which have been established to conduct investigations on corruption alone. There are also various issues on the expenditure of the Secretariat. This has become a place for certain people to make money.
Cabinet co-spokesperson Minister Dr. Rajitha Senaratne revealed today that Cabinet approval was granted to purchase a PET CT scanner for the Apeksha Hospital in Maharagama. Announcing the decision at the weekly Cabinet media briefing today, Health Minister Dr. Senaratne expressed appreciation towards the Derana media network for efforts in accumulating necessary funds for the much required PET scanner.
In March 2016, Derana revealed that patients who come for treatment at the Apeksha Hospital had to spend around 150,000 rupees for a PET CT scan report at a private hospital. Though the hospital administration had initiated a program to purchase a PET CT scanner, they only managed to collect around 6 million rupees in several months. The Derana humanitarian initiative decided to step in and join hands with the hospital administration to purchase a PET CT scanner. With the contribution of Derana, funds came pouring from all across the globe with the accumulated sum rising to 240 million rupees. Accordingly, the Ministry of Health commenced the tender procedure and the Cabinet of Ministers approved the purchase last evening.
The Hospital for Hope, they wanted a PET scanner. Derana media, they came forward to give publicity, to use their commercial time without taking any money from those people. They gave enough publicity daily for the sake of the cancer patients. Finally, we have collected the money and under the procurement procedure, the government has decided to purchase the most modern and the latest PET scanner produced in Germany. Yesterday, the Cabinet approved the proposal and it will be confirmed the next week, and after that we will be purchasing that. All PET scanner reports will be free of charge for the people of this country. I must thank those who came forward to collect this fund and also those who donated, and mainly Derana media for coming forward. Because of Derana, actually it was very easy to collect that money, over 1,000 million rupees.
In tonight's top story today, the use of polythene products, including commonly used lunch sheets as well as food containers, will be banned from the 1st of September this year. The Central Environmental Authority today announced the government's decision to ban the usage and importation of polythene products. Meanwhile, the Cabinet of Ministers also informed media of its approval to implement activities related to managing the use of polythene.
Cabinet of Ministers informed today that it had agreed to implement activities under 3 categories, namely short, medium and long term, in a bid to minimize the environmental impact of polythene. Accordingly, 9 short-term activities were declared. Prohibition of polythene use for decorations in all events, Implement the prevailing regulation for prohibition of use, sale and production of polythene equal to or less than 20 microns. Allow use of polythene less than 20 microns for essential activities only on the approval of Central Environmental Authority. Prohibition of sale, importation and production of lunch sheets. Prohibition of sale, importation and production of containers, plates, cups, spoons made using polystyrene. Prohibition of sale of processed or cooked meals packed in polythene containers. Promotion of providing paper, cloth or reed bags or biologically degradable plastics for customers when purchasing items in stores. Prohibition of burning polythene and plastic in open places. Introduction and promotion of biologically degradable polythene and plastics. Meanwhile, the Cabinet of Ministers had agreed to implement two mid-term activities. 1. Provision of tax concessions in importation of machinery used in biologically degradable plastic productions and imposing a cess tax of 15% on importation of plastic raw material and goods. Furthermore, the complete prohibition of recycled plastic products is mentioned as a long-term activity. Meanwhile, addressing a media briefing held in Colombo today, Central Environmental Authority made the public aware of alternatives to the use of polythene.
We can use these particular lunch sheets which are naturally decomposable, and we can use this garbage bag which is also 100% naturally decomposable. There are naturally decomposable shopping bags as well. These will decay within 1.5 months. We will conduct monthly raids and we will take legal action against any responsible people or organizations. As the Central Environmental Authority, we don't have the power to take direct legal action, so we will produce the responsible parties to the Magistrates' Court and take necessary legal action.
Former spokesperson of Sri Lankan Navy, Commodore DKP Dasanayake, was arrested by the Criminal Investigations Department today. He was arrested in connection with a case involving the abduction and enforced disappearance of 11 Tamil youth in the year 2008.
The former Navy media spokesperson was named as a suspect in the investigation conducted by the Criminal Investigation Department. Fort Magistrate Lanka Jayaratna also issued a warrant for the arrest of another suspect, Lieutenant Commander of Sri Lanka Navy Prasad Hettiarachchi, who reportedly eluded court. Furthermore, 5 intelligence officers of the Sri Lanka Navy presently in remand custody have been further remanded till the 19th of July.
Despite recent rains which inundated most of the island, over 100,000 people are facing hardship due to a prevalent drought. According to our reporter, 13 divisional secretariats out of 16 in the Puttalam district are affected by the drought.
It is reported approximately 29,000 families are affected by the drought in the Puttalam district. According to the locals of the area, they haven't received sufficient rainfall in 2 years. Although Disaster Management Centre in Puttalam had released about 20 bowsers of water to provide people with drinking water, it is reported if the situation prevails, they will not be able to provide water anymore. Animals too are seen affected by the severe drought condition. Meanwhile, water levels of a number of prominent lakes in Polonnaruwa too have gone down as a result of the drought. Although the Parakrama Samudra should have a water level of 115,000 acres, at the moment it has been decreased to 46,000 acres at present. Water levels of Minneria, Giritale and Kaudolla lakes have also decreased, and the farmers in Polonnaruwa have faced the greatest difficulty without enough water.
Former Senior Assistant Director of the Facilities Management Department at Central Bank, Saman Kumara, alleges that there is a conspiracy in play against him at the Central Bank. Saman Kumara, who was interdicted from his position yesterday, levelled the allegation today, appearing before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry to probe the controversial bond issuance.
Former Senior Assistant Director of the Facilities Management Department at the Central Bank, Saman Kumara, appearing before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry, said since he attempted to develop the market, he was transferred to the back office from the middle office of the Public Debt Department. He went on to say he had a liking towards the former governor of the Central Bank, Arjuna Mahendran, since he did a great service to the development of the fund management sector in Singapore. Saman Kumara further mentioned that following the controversial bond auction held on the 27th of February 2015, he was sent to a frontline minister with a group of other central bank officials to put forth facts regarding the incident. The former senior assistant director of the Facilities Management Department at the central bank also noted that since the auction-based fundraising system allows a fair chance for everyone, he worked for the promotion of the auction-based fundraising system. He alleged that he was not allowed to testify before the COPE with regard to the bond issuance, and the committee report, which was produced following an internal investigation at the central bank, was biased and contained fabrications.
Minister of Finance and Mass Media Mangala Samaravira says that the tea industry will face various challenges in a backdrop of unfolding geopolitical development and decrease in oil prices. He made these comments at an event held to celebrate 150 years of Ceylon tea at the central bank today.
The ceremonial issuance of the 10 rupee coin commemorating the 150-year tea anniversary of Ceylon tea was held at the central bank today. The unveiling of the ceremonial coin was held in the presence of the Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy, and Minister of Plantation Industry, Naveen Dissanayake.
We have to deal with limited land area, adverse weather patterns, increasing cost of labor and production, labor shortages, substandard infrastructure, etc., amongst variety of other issues. In this backdrop, it may be difficult to witness upbeat market conditions in Sri Lanka's main export regions in the immediate future due to the unfolding geopolitical developments and low oil prices. Hence, it is time that we may recalibrate our product and market development strategies as a matter of priority. As the industry confronts multiplicity of challenges in the time ahead, we need to capitalize further on our strengths and eliminate or minimize the effect of vulnerabilities.
State Minister for International Trade Sujiva Senasinghe says that at a time of creating an export-driven economy, an Exim Bank is necessary to support small and medium-scale entrepreneurs if Sri Lankan exports are to boost. He made these comments at a media briefing of Sri Lanka's second National Symposium to develop a national export strategy in Colombo yesterday.
We know the importance of the Exim Bank. So in the future, if we can have an Exim Bank, I think that for medium and other large scale, it will be very important to fund. We want a proper Exim Bank to function in Sri Lanka so that any medium or large scale investor wants funding, that they can look into it and support it. When we get the system right, we need about another 1.5 years, 2 years, 3 years to get the exports again. How can you manufacture all of a sudden something new? You know, even to get approvals, it takes about 3-4 years in this country. That is why we have our ease of doing business ranking is 110. Once you destroy a country economically, it takes time for you to bounce back.
In the Sri Lankan equities, the Colombo bourse drifted to the negative territory today despite a drop in treasury yields. The all-share price index closed at 6,746, dropping 2.05, while the S&P SL20 fell 1.77, while market turnover was around 550 million rupees. Foreign investors were net sellers with net outflow of 28 million rupees. Here's a look at the daily market update.
Top 5 gainers of the day were SNB Leasing, Standard Capital, Malvatta Valley Plantation Non-Voting, Malvatta Valley Plantation and Colombo Dockyard, while the top 5 losers were PC Pharma, Beruvilla Resorts, Swarnamahal Financial Services, Tess Agro and Lighthouse Hotel.
Tonight, Angelo Mathews takes top spot with his resignation from the captaincy. It comes at a time when Sri Lanka cricket has come under intense scrutiny with the recent one-day series loss against Zimbabwe and the players' fitness also being called into question. Dinesh Chandimal now takes over the reins in tests, while Upul Tharanga is set to captain the side in ODI and T20 formats.
Mathews, who became Sri Lanka's youngest Test captain in 2013, at the age of 25, led the nation in 34 tests, winning 13 of them. Since captaining his first ODI in 2012, After Mahela Jayawardene stepped down from the role, Mathews led the team in 47 wins in 98 matches. Mathews, having taken the reins, also led Sri Lanka in 12 T20 internationals. Though Sri Lanka's successors have been modest in limited over cricket through the latter half of his tenure, they have, on his watch, tasted rare success in the Test format. In 2014, Mathews played a pivotal role in the Test series triumph in England. It was under his leadership that Sri Lanka went in to host the 2014 Asia Cup. Last year, Sri Lanka also whitewashed Australia, a side against which the country had only tasted one victory. However, the last year of Mathews' captaincy was hampered by injury. He was absent for a 5-match ODI series against South Africa due to a torn hamstring, missed Bangladesh's tour of the island, and most recently was unavailable for Sri Lanka's Champion Trophy fixture against South Africa. He also missed 2 tests and ODI tri-series in Zimbabwe as a result of multiple leg injuries. Following Sri Lanka's defeat in the series, he faced much scrutiny through social media. Mathews informed his decision to step down from the captaincy in all formats at a media briefing held at Sri Lanka Cricket Board today.
My desire to step down as the captain of the national team, which was not an easy decision, mainly not due to the fact that we lost. Yes, there had been significant poor performances and I'm humble enough to accept it. There were 2 things working in my mind, whether this is the right time to step down and whether this is the right time considering the team, because the team's interest supersedes my personal interest. And also I wanted to give the successor enough time till the World Cup to build up a team.
Dinesh Chandimal, who served as Mathews' deputy and led the T20 team in the past, also expressed his views on the responsibility thrust upon him to captain the Test side.
I am really honoured and pleasure to captain in the Test side. We have lots of up and downs last 2 years, but we have really good players with the good youngsters and the seniors. So I am going to put my heart and soul to get in the right position. So looking forward to do that in future.
In the past, Upul Taranga had led the ODI team when Angelo Mathews was injured.
I thank the Cricket Board and the chairman of the Cricket Selection Committee for trusting me with the leadership of ODI and T20 matches.
In tennis, former champion Novak Djokovic made light work of his 4th-round opponent Adrian Mannarino to cement his place in the quarterfinals with a straight sets win at Wimbledon yesterday. Novak Djokovic demolished his French counterpart and Adrian Mannarino in the first set, but was forced into a tiebreak in the second. The Serb maintained his composure and took the second and easily won the third to record a 6-2, 7-6, 6-4 win on the court. Did Donald Trump Jr. admit to colluding with the Russian government to influence the outcome of last year's presidential election? And what is the response of those involved? As it turns out, US President Donald Trump's son has said he did not tell his father about a meeting with a Russian lawyer who said she could help his election campaign.
US President Donald Trump's eldest son released an email chain yesterday which refers to a top Russian government prosecutor as offering the Trump campaign damaging information about Democratic rival Hillary Clinton. The move came after a New York Times report revealed that Donald Trump Jr. knew that the source of the compromising information being offered to him was the Russian government. One of the more explosive lines from the email, quote, "This is obviously very high level and sensitive information, but it is part of Russia and its government support for Mr. Trump," unquote. This relates to the offered official document and information about Democrat Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump Jr. told Fox News the meeting was just a nothing, but he should have handled it differently.
It was such a nothing. There was nothing to tell. I mean, I wouldn't have even remembered it until you start scouring through the stuff. It was literally just a wasted 20 minutes, which was a shame.
Chinese state media report that ships carrying Chinese troops are heading to Djibouti to set up Beijing's first overseas military base. China says the support base will be used for peacekeeping and humanitarian aid in Africa and West Asia.
The naval base is also to be used for military cooperation, naval exercises and rescue missions. China has ramped up investment in Africa as well as rapidly modernizing its military in recent years. The state-run news agency Xinhua report that the ships departed from the port city of Zhangjiang in China's southern Guangdong province today. It did not specify the number of troops or ships that departed from Djibouti, nor when the base would start operations. The base is widely seen as a move by China to stake its military presence in the region.
The Supreme Court of India has suspended a law that would have banned the sale of cattle for slaughter nationwide yesterday. The government order aimed to prevent uncontrolled and unregulated animal trade at livestock markets.
For the first time, the sale for slaughter of buffaloes and camels as well as cows, which Hindus consider holy, would have been illegal. The Chief Justice said that it would have a major impact on the meat and leather industries and hit livelihoods. The meat industry are dominated by minority Muslims and the proposed law was widely opposed. The government is now expected to make changes and resubmit amendments to the law by the end of August.
And we move on to the Weather Centre for your weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
A very good evening and welcome to the Weather Centre. Now, most parts of the island can expect some fair weather with occasional drizzle over the western, Sabaragamu and central provinces, with Galle and Puntland districts set to experience some wet weather over the next 24 hours. Showers and thundershowers may occur at several places in the eastern, Uva and north central provinces, accompanied by strong gusts of wind. That is it from the Weather Centre for now, but it's time to take a look at the city-by-city forecast.
And that's all from your news tonight. And before we go, we'd like to take you to Japan, where an artist used about 8,000 goldfish as well as other sea creatures to bring life to an art installation in Tokyo. Combining the creatures' elegant movements with light projection mapping, music and a myriad of fishbowl designs, director Hidetomo Kimura hoped the art aquarium will immerse viewers in an underwater palace. We leave you with these visuals. Have a pleasant evening. Stay safe. Good night.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Derana 24/7.